Hi, I'm Sharon Wren,
And I'm Linda Cook.
and this is our QC Crime Watch. This week, we're going to be taking a look at some of the crimes that have happened in the Quad Cities this week, and we will check in on some of the court cases that we're following.
That's right. And in the meantime, please do remember that we are not attorneys and we cannot give legal advice.
Nope, not a bit.
So, Sharon, you have an interesting, kind of an oddball situation here.
This is breaking news today. The Moline Police Department is looking for an East Moline man named Jesse Hayes, who they say stole 65 memorial plaques from along Ben Butterworth Parkway in Moline. These are the little plaques that you can buy, like if somebody dies, you want to dedicate a tree to them or a bench or something.
Right, in memoriam, right?
In memoriam then. It worked out to be, that added up to about 300 pounds of brass,
Holy cats.
which Mr. Hayes allegedly sold for $610. Now, each one of those 65 plaques cost the city $250 plus labor. So the total loss is estimated at over $16,000. Anybody who has information on Mr. Hayes is asked to call the Moline Police Department at 309-797-0401 or Crime Stoppers at 309-792-9500. So we are going to keep monitoring that because there's a lot of problem with people stealing copper and brass.
And in the last few weeks, I've written stories about people stealing copper wire. And I know this is part of it, right?
Yeah.
And I think copper is used in a lot of industries for different things. Things.
Electronics, I think.
Yeah.
We're not electrical experts either, so.
No, but I know that people certainly are stealing a lot of this, and it's a nationwide trend, not just the Quad Cities.
Yeah, sadly, we're not the only place that has this problem.
Wow, that's too bad. Well, I hope some of that is recovered.
Yes. Well, the problem is when they were scrapping them. You know how they have something engraved on there,
exactly.
in memory of Grandpa or whatever.
Right.
That was all ground off.
Oh no!
So these things they're gone.
I feel very sad for the families.
And some of these, in the news release earlier said that some of them had been around between 15 and 30 years.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, so we're going to definitely keep following this story.
Okay, I hope maybe a group will get together to maybe fundraise to replace those.
Yeah.
That would mean a lot to me if it were one of my loved ones.
Exactly.
That's too bad. Yeah. This is another sort of an oddball crime. A man named Hunter Bargman, who is 23, he's from Bettendorf, faces charges. One of them is a felony charge of second-degree criminal mischief. And the police say that earlier this week, or at least some days ago, they were suspicious of him anyway, that he had done this. They conducted a search warrant at his house, and they found 170 cans of spray paint.
He's not a crafty person, is
No,
he?
apparently. Well, that remains to be seen. Police say in affidavits that Bargman spray painted several businesses, including Big Ten Mart, Golden Corral, Bi-State Barricade, Taco Bell, Red Lobster, McCade Properties, Elevate Living, Canadian Pacific, and others in that general area. Now, the amount of damage isn't that great. It's been reported as $5,460. But affidavits show that, again, during the search of his house, officers located 170 cans of spray paint, but there's more than circumstantial evidence here. Apparently, on his Instagram and YouTube accounts, Bargman posted videos and photos of the incidents. So,
okay, guys, the police look at social media.
Everybody
does. We look at social media
all the time.
Yeah, so I know we don't give legal advice, but maybe don't record it and post it if you're going to crime.
Well, there's a lot of this that just plain doesn't make sense. But we will continue. He has been released on bond, and we will continue to follow his case as it goes through the courts. Very, very unusual, especially for someone that age. You always think of that kind of thing maybe being the result of a kid.
Of a juvenile.
Right, but
darn kids.
Right, but anyway, and that's, I always feel bad. It's cold right now. That's a lot for people to clean up out in the cold.
And it's not easy to just wipe off.
No, you can't. So if you want to see pictures of the damage, please go to ourquadcities.com and or Google Hunter Bargman, and we have the pictures in the story that I wrote. And this is a violent crime that happened a few days ago. A 58-year-old Bettendorf man, police say, left a victim with multiple injuries during a stabbing at a Davenport Walmart. His name is Wesley Spots, and he had it says he did with intent to cause death of another person, stab a victim several times with the blade of a folding knife. This is according to arrest affidavits. He stabbed the victim on both hands, a laceration on the left forearm, laceration on the left side of the chest, a laceration on the left knee, and on the left shin. And Spots, police say, did intentionally go armed with a dangerous weapon with the intent to commit an assault. Police say in these affidavits that Spots, after he was read his Miranda rights, said he intentionally stabbed the other man. Now, we don't know what happened before this, so we have no idea what kind of altercation or...
we don't have context.
No, not at all. But again, we will be following this because his case will continue to progress in Scott County Court.
Well, speaking of following cases, we have another sentencing in connection with the massive fire at the Rock Island Auction Barn back in February of 2024.
Gosh. And how many were there? 3 suspects?
There were 3 suspects arrested.
And this is one of them, right?
Yes, this is the one of them. The gentleman's name is Matthew Waddell. He's 22 of East Moline, and he pleaded guilty to 1 count of arson, which is a Class 2 felony, in October. 2 counts of criminal damage more than $100,000 and animal torture were dropped. The animal torture charge was filed because a cow died in the fire.
Right.
So he was sentenced to 3 years in the Department of Corrections, followed by a year of mandatory supervised release. And he must pay restitution in the amount of $361,847.80.
Okay.
Another defendant in the case, Caden Sveck, was sentenced in October of 2024 to 3 years in the Department of Corrections and a year of mandatory supervised release. And a third defendant, William Cosgard IV, had a pretrial conference today. We do not know the outcome of that.
Okay, so we'll keep... the case is not over. 2 people have been sentenced, but the third is still proceeding through the courts. You know, Sharon, one of the things I think that surprises people is how long these take. We have cases that we're following that we followed for 2 and 3 years, right?
Yeah, it's not like on television where you arrest them and then the next scene they're in the courtroom and then it's like guilty or innocent or whatever. It doesn't work like that.
No. And I think perhaps it's best that it doesn't. It gives people... attorneys on both sides time to give due diligence to their clients, or defendants, as the case may be. But these things do take time.
Yeah, and the more complex the case, the longer it's going to take.
Right. So we'll keep following these cases, and I guess my advice for this week is, if you see something, say something.
Yes.
That might make all the difference in the world to a victim.
Even if you think it's silly.
Call the police. It's okay.
They don't mind.